Powered by Riverside.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of In-Laws and Out of Bounds. I am half of your host, Hagen. Sitting across from me here is Emilio, and we are excited to be back. We're a little bit late here on this one, a day late, but somebody wanted to watch the Cowboys game in disappointment, and they did not fail me. So we apologize about that. I'm sure it didn't interrupt anybody's day too bad, but we appreciate y'all coming back nonetheless, and thank you for the support. Before we get started, please make sure you give us a follow on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all that good stuff. We really appreciate all the support that y'all have given us so far with just following along, listening, liking the podcast on Spotify, and everything else. We really appreciate it. Don't forget that we do have a bracket challenge going on that will close Friday when the first playoff game is for college football. You can get on ESPN. It's just In-Laws and Out of Bounds sports podcast. Join the group. We are going to be giving away prizes for the top three, and that number one has a really big prize, and it's brought to you by our sponsors, Brewster Bird Hunts, the number one source for dove and upland birds in all of Texas. Make sure that you give them a follow, a like. We really appreciate those guys over there. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook. Sorry, I was fixing to say YouTube. I don't think they have YouTube, though. But really appreciate them, all the support that they've given us. But first place in that bracket challenge is going to be a free dove hunt for 4 with Brewster Bird Hunt. So make sure that you go and join that. That's going to be a lot of fun. Even if I win, or when I do win, I will give it over to somebody else. So unlike Mr. Camouflage over here, probably going to bring up the rear of the old caboose. So anyways, we appreciate you guys and whatever capacity that you do listen to us. We've got a little bit of college football talk to get into today. We'll talk about the Heisman. We'll look at all the award winners from this weekend, Army-Navy preview. Wasn't much else that went on, a couple FCS games, things of that nature. And then we'll get into some NFL talk, look at the playoffs, look at what happened, a little bit of Cowboys rant at some point. So, Emilio, got anything to say to the folks?
Nope. Last night was a good night. Tonight's going to be a good one also.
Yeah. He just loves when that happens. But, all right, well, let's just get right into it. Some different news here that we got going on. And before we get into just straight college football, we were talking about awards, and we are a sports podcast nonetheless, right? Not just the football, even though we've been heavily football for a while, but do want to talk about all things, and this is something that I care about more than you care about, I think, Emilio. But, man, Scotty Scheffler, he wins the PGA Tour Player of the Year award for the 4th consecutive year in a row. Big feat to accomplish in golf. I know he said that his season didn't start off super hot like he wanted to, but it came on back end of the year here. You know, he had a chance to go for the Triple Crown. At one point he won the PGA this year. He had numerous wins, had a really good run at the Masters and some other areas. So big for him. I'm gonna give you a list, Emilio, of the only other players that have had a four-peat in their respective league. And you tell me how he ranks. Okay, so besides Scotty Scheffler, the only other golfer to ever do this was Tiger Woods. So right there puts you in rarefied air, right?
Right.
The other names on this list are Randy Johnson, who did it from 99 to 2002. Barry Bonds did it from 01 to 04. Roger Federer did it from 04 to 07. Lionel Messi, I said that terribly, but 09 to 2012. And then Serena Williams from 2012 to 2015. Those are the only players to do it in their respective leagues. So,
wow.
Scotty's in some pretty pretty rarefied air there. I think he's done a lot as already in his career to solidify him as one of the greats, right? And now he's one of the greatest athletes of all time, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about golf, but I do know enough to know that Tiger Woods was on that list, and Tiger Woods was doing this four-peat while he had a whole secret second life and was driving the road after a couple of Teddy Brewskis. So, am I that impressed with Scotty Scheffler? I mean, he's not doing that and winning a four-peat, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think the personal lives of Scotty Scheffler and Tiger Woods are completely different, for sure.
So, I mean, who's really the better athlete?
I mean, Tiger just straight trashed his back for the love of the game. So, old boy can barely walk now. So, you know what? He just trashed his back for the thing. And then, not only Scotty.
Who's
Go ahead.
Who's Randy Johnson? Is that the wrestler?
Oh my God.
Or the race car driver?
Did you seriously just ask me that question?
Yeah.
You just asked me who the ace was? Randy Johnson? The unit? Are you kidding me?
Okay, so it is the wrestler.
No, he's not the damn wrestler. Dude, it's the big unit, man.
Oh, that's Randy Orton. You're right.
Randy Orton. Yeah, no. Randy Johnson pitched for 22 years in the MLB. You've ever seen that video of that pitcher who hits that seagull and he just burst into feathers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Randy Johnson, dude.
I thought that was Roger Clemens.
No.
Okay.
You're just throwing out random white guy names now. You don't follow baseball. You're just throwing out random names. No, man. Randy Johnson played for the Mariners, mainly the Mariners and the Diamondbacks, really. He won a World Series with the Diamondbacks. He kind of went around, bounced around as he got a little older. 5-time Cy Young winner. I think he went to I don't know, close to a dozen, all-star appearances, Triple Crown winner, all this kind of stuff. I mean, he was...
Does this guy have long hair?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he was tall. They called him Big Unit. He's like freaking 6'8" or whatever, like John Wayne out there on the pitching mound, dude. Which I guess John Wayne was actually short, but that's not what we talked about. He was like six. Actually, I think he was like 6'10". He was almost like 7 foot, and he was out there pitching, just throwing heaters all the time. Yeah, dude. But like one of the greatest pitchers of all time. So the fact that you're talking about Randy Savage, that's the wrestler. Or Randy Orton.
No. There's no mistake in Macho Man Randy Savage. Come on now.
If you were to compare the two of who looks alike, Randy Johnson looks a little more like Randy Savage, just not on steroids. Oh yeah, brother.
Bingo.
Hey,
there's no mistake in that.
Talking about wrestling and sports, hey man, one of the greatest of all times retired this weekend. He had his last game, so you truly can't see him anymore.
I couldn't see it.
John Cena. Dun, 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 dun. Did you see him? Did you see his facial expression when he tapped out?
Yes,
that was hilarious.
That's going viral everywhere.
I'm at peace. I think I've got a little piece when I go to snippet this of somebody made it about the Cowboys. It was them and they had the star in there, and it was just like being at peace with how the Cowboys suck and they're never going to be good, basically. Yeah, so. He was at peace with what he has done, but man, 17-time world heavyweight champion, accomplished a lot with from the thugonomics to the military stuff.
I forgot all about that.
Hey, dude. Hey, I listened to his podcast or his episode with Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan podcast, and I mean, I used to like wrestling a lot. So really, when I got out of it, he was kind of coming into it as I was young. So always kind of, I guess, somewhat loosely kept up with John Cena, and he was everywhere. I mean, he's always been everywhere, right? Whether he was a meme or whatever. So he was a big part of that organization, and then he became somewhat of a movie star like The Rock and whatnot. So it's crazy. You're getting older when, all these athletes are, leaving and all that kind of stuff. So anyways.
Yeah, but you stay young when some of them start coming back,
You talking about Phillip Rivers?
You're damn right I am.
Hey, that old boy is one ham sandwich away from. Hey, look, out of the respect for Phillip Rivers, man, and we'll definitely get into that. But that was that old boy needs some lightening up. So, anyways, but yeah, I think that's all the random sports facts that we got out there. Other than the Spurs going to the Cup Finals, man. That's Wemby's. They're playing great. They've had their best start to the season. They're 18-7, and it's their best start since like 2016 when Kawhi and LaMarcus Aldridge were on the team, and it was like 20-5 or something like that. So, big year coming from the Spurs. Better watch out. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get in at some point in the next 2 months. We're gonna run out of football talk. And there's going to be some of y'all that are going to fall off because we're going to be talking about basketball. I mean, we're always going to have football in here no matter what. Like, there's going to be football included in this podcast always. We'll definitely talk about it, whether it's meaningful or not. Football's king, and that's just how it runs. But we are going to have to mix some different things in here, especially when we get into March Madness. You get into the playoffs of the basketball and all that kind of stuff. So, but by that point, we're going to be talking about football stuff, basketball stuff. Emilio is regrettably going to be talking about baseball and golf as well. So he's going to grow his knowledge there a little bit. That's going to be a little harder to keep up with, but we'll get there at some point.
You'll be deep into your campaign trail by that point too.
No, I will not be. Yeah, so Rhonda Virgil's going to be running over my sign out there.
I didn't think there was a way that I could bait you into doing that, and I did.
Oh man, dude, it's getting hot out there in the streets. I don't want none of that heat from any of these old folks in Uvalde County, man. I just want to do my thing over here as a little podcast host and a manager of a case dealership and do my thing for you. Don't bring no heat.
I did not think I could bait you into that one. And
that's the big news. That's the big news of Uvalde County, man. I don't save that for the Neg Pod or the Waller. They can get into all that stuff. That's their deal. So shout out those guys. But anyways, let's get in some sports. Some football, some college football. Saturday, man, you saw the Heisman happen. Fernando Mendoza becomes the first Heisman winner for the Indiana Hoosiers. He also became one of the first ones. He took home quite a few awards. He took home the Maxwell Award, which is the most outstanding player in college football as well. He beat out Jeremiah Love and Julian Sayin on that one, and then he took the Davey O'Brien Award as well, which is the best quarterback, beating out Marcel Reed of Texas A&M and then Julian Sayin as well. Those other two were finalists. So he's got a lot collecting on his plate this year. He's got the Heisman, Davey O'Brien, Maxwell, Big Ten championship. Just one last thing there to finish it, to get the gauntlet, right? Get Thanos' gauntlet there. So we'll see what happens as he goes forward, if he can live up to those things. He's getting a lot of heat. A lot of people are saying that this year's Heisman was one of the worst in most recent memory, probably since Jason White got it back in 2000.
Hey, whoa.
That's 25 years ago.
Jason White was a legend. How dare you?
It's funny to me that we both agreed on this, that this was a foregone conclusion that Mendoza was going to win this, right? And in my opinion, it came down to in that Big Ten championship game between Ohio State and Indiana, and whoever won that, as long as the quarterbacks played somewhat decently, which it wasn't high scoring by any means. I don't think they really did anything to boost their numbers other than, Mendoza made a play when he needed to, was clean all game, but it was going to come down to Julian Sayin and Fernando Mendoza. You look at a lot of things. There's been a lot of stats put out that Jeremiah Love has, of the 25 running backs that have won the Heisman since, the 70s or whatever that number was, that he's had better numbers than 19 of them. He's had more yards per carry than most of them outside of Reggie Bush. There's been a lot of stats. A lot of people have been upset. I think some of that stuff with the Jeremiah Love stuff just comes from these chapped ass Notre Dame fans, because believe me, they've got some chapped asses right now. I tell you that one clip that we put out on Facebook that's like 30 seconds, and for whatever reason overnight it got like 30,000 views. There's a lot of old Catholics out there with some chapped asses, I'll tell you that, Emilio. And I know you're Catholic. It's not because they're Catholic. I'm just saying they're coming after us on that. So, yeah.
It happens.
It happens. So, anyways, but there's a lot of debate on that. I don't think there was much, Diego Pavia, he had a great year, But I think when you look at their numbers across the board, there was nothing that was really outstanding as far as like, hey, this guy threw for 1,000 yards more, threw 15 more touchdowns, whatever that was. And then you have to factor in the 13-0, right? The going that, putting yourself in the number one seed. A lot of that matters too. And it wasn't just Mendoza that did that. He has a whole team behind him, right? There's 22 guys that have to play offense and defense, not including the special teams and all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot, but you are the leader of that organization, that program. So kudos to him. That's a big deal.
Did Diego Pavia say something real outlandish or tweet something?
Yeah, he did say something crazy. You know what? I think I thought I saved that at some point. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't think I did, but he did
something
say
about
crazy. Yeah. Basically, he said something like, "Everyone knows that I was robbed, but respectfully, I outplayed the trophy." It was essentially he played better than what the Heisman Trophy actually is. So, yeah, and there was a lot more to that, but that was the gist of what he said.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. So, anyways, that's one of those that's wild. But some other award winners here. You had the Outland Trophy went to Utah's offensive tackle Spencer Fano. He beat out Iowa's center Logan Jones, and then Ohio State's defensive tackle Caden McDonald, which all three of those guys are going to be first-round picks at one point. They're really high on that board. The Jim Trope Award went to the best, which is the best defensive back, went to Ohio State's Caleb Downs, who is considered a first-round talent in this next year's upcoming draft. The Doak Walker Award, which is the best running back, went to Jeremiah Love, who beat out Missouri's Ahmad Hardy, and then Ole Miss's Kawan Lacey. The Home Depot Coach of the Year, Kurt Cignetti of Indiana, well-deserving there. Back-to-back 11-plus winning seasons, right? Playoff appearances. He's done a lot. Yep. Done a lot there. And then, Jeremiah Love won the Disney Spirit Award, most inspirational figure.
Did not know that was an award.
I didn't either, just till I was looking down here at this. And then you had, Jacob Rodriguez. He took about just almost every defensive award home. The Chuck Bernard Award, which is the best defensive player in college football. He beat out Caleb Downs and then Texas A&M's Cassius Howe in that aspect. The belt. I can't say the Belknap Award, which is most outstanding receiver, went to Makai Lemon of USC, who beat out Skylar Bell and then Jeremiah Smith. You had the Lou Groves Collegiate Place Kicker Award, went to Oklahoma's Tate Sandell. He's kicked a lot of field goals this year because that Oklahoma team just hadn't been able to put it in the end zone. So he's had to use that leg quite a bit. And then the Ray Guy Award, which is the most outstanding punter, went to Brett Thorson of Georgia. Sorry, beat out a Troy punter. So it's those are mainly the big ones that you see. Like I said, Jacob Rodriguez took about every big defensive player award there home. You had a list of All-Americans that did come out. You had a couple of Aggies on there. Cassius Howe was a first-team All-American on defense. And then Jacob Rodriguez was a first-team all-defense. You look at that Caden McDonald, like we talked about, for the best lineman on there. You had a Navy, Landon Robinson. He had a big game this weekend. He was able to make some different impact plays. He was first-team. David Bailey of Texas Tech. He's a defensive end. That defensive line for Tech gets overlooked quite a bit just because of their stud linebackers, but that defensive line is really solid for Texas Tech. They control the line of scrimmage that allows their linebackers to make a lot of big plays. So Jacob Rodriguez should be giving those guys a lot of respect there. And then on the back end, you got some Georgia and Ohio State guys mixed in there. There's quite a bit here. Caleb Downs, first team all defense. You're going to see him on Sundays. C.J. Allen, the linebacker for Georgia, you'll see him on Sundays. And then Arvell Reese, he's going to be a first-round talent as well in this upcoming draft. On the offensive side of the ball, not surprising over here, Fernando Mendoza, first team All-American. You had Jeremiah Love, first-team All-American. Ahmad Hardy was as well. Casey Concepcion was an All-American for an all-purpose player. And then you had Makai Lemon, Jeremiah Smith, Skylar Bell, and then Francis Magnu for Miami. Sorry, some of these names get a little tough here. You had a bunch of Midwest guys, really, for your offensive line here. 2 from Iowa, no surprise there. Spencer Fano from Utah, and then you had an Oregon guy in there. So Eli Stowers for Vanderbilt actually got on there too as tight end. So a lot of different stuff there. It's pretty good. I know there was a lot of Aggies that made the All SEC list though as well. I don't have that list in front of me, but that's pretty good for all those guys. So congratulations to all those guys. If you ever hear this, or if anybody knows them, tell them we said congratulations. That's a big deal there. I'm sure they give a damn. But I'm sorry, guys. We've been a little silly. But, hey, looking back on Sunday or Saturday, Friday, Stephen F. Austin got their butts kicked against Montana State, some FCS stuff, 44-28. Man, Tarleton blew a game here against Villanova, 26-21. They had a chance. They busted off like an 80-yard run, and then it got called back for holding, so that stunk. Montana beat South Dakota 52-22, and then Illinois State beat UC Davis 42-31. So a lot of FCS action happening there. If you were to look at the bowl standings, Washington put a whooping on Boise State 38-10, and then Army came back, or Navy came back and beat Army on a last second, not a last second, but the last couple minutes. I think there was 4 minutes left, and took that score. And Army really had control of the game the whole time, really. And then Navy just kept in there. Blake Horvath was just able to keep churning. I know we talked about this, but the passing yards, they were identical. They both threw 82 yards passing. Kel Helms was 5 of 10 for 82 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. I told you the story yesterday. He's from somewhere here in Texas. I think it's South Lake Carroll where he's from. It's either South Lake Carroll or Austin Westlake, I feel like. But he came in high school. He threw for 8,000 yards in high school. And then you get recruited to go to Army, and you're running a wing T offense, and it's like, hey, you're running about every play, dude. Like, you ain't throwing the ball. But it's kind of weird when they do throw it. I guess I don't know if it's the athletes that they lack on the outside or what it is, or their offensive line just doesn't know how to pass block. But they just, like, when they run a pass play, it's one of the most awkward things, it feels like. I don't know.
Well,
It's just weird. But, I mean, he ran the ball 25 times for 100 yards even and had a touchdown. So
25 times.
25 times is what your quarterback's running it. All combined, his running backs, fullbacks, whatever you want to call it, the 3 that got carries ran the ball for nine carries. 3 other guys. Wow. Yeah. So they put the they put the workload on that old boy, and they made it do it. And Blake Horvath on the other side, 7 of 14, 82 yards, 1 touchdown through the air and 1 interception. He ran the ball 34 times for 107 yards and 1 touchdown. That's man. That's a lot to put on your quarterback and say, here, go after it, man. But that's just the way those offenses run. So it was a great game, though. Really, it's what you expect from Navy Army, Army Navy. It's, you know, it's just a classic football. It's a lot of was great in college football still. You know, these guys are playing for a lot of pride. There's a lot of great traditions in them. When you looked at the pregame stuff, you know, the presidents being there, the flyover, the prisoner exchange that they do, and then just all really the love that they have for that. The uniforms that come out, they had some really, really great uniforms that they always do and put out. And then, you know, just the purity of it, it seems like a little bit, just what it is, right? So it's a great game. Navy wins the Commander-in-Chief Cup for the 2nd year in a row, and it'll stay in Annapolis. So that's pretty cool. But did you watch it at all? Your
I
Facebook
did.
says it.
I
You did.
watched the whole second half,
Dang.
and I'm glad I only watched the second half
Yeah, it was a
because
slow game.
it was slow enough for it to seem like I watched the whole thing. I didn't have to see the whole thing to know what happened.
I missed the third quarter and most of the fourth, but I watched that touchdown, the game-winning touchdown. So, but yeah, it was just kind of like, man, I've put what I could into this, and that's about it. So, but there wasn't much that happened Saturday for college football outside of the awards. That's great, good to those guys. But this week we turn our focus to the college football playoffs. We're going to have some bowls. They're going to start happening tomorrow, actually. You got Troy and Jacksonville State that's going to play on Tuesday. And then Wednesday night, you're going to have Old Dominion playing South Florida and Louisiana playing Delaware. And then you have games Thursday. You have one game Thursday, Missouri State, Arkansas State, and then you get into Friday where you've got, 3 different games. The big one Friday, you have the first college football playoff game with Alabama traveling to Oklahoma to kick it off there. And then you get into Saturday, you got Miami going to College Station to take on the Aggies, Tulane's going to Oxford to take on Ole Miss, and James Madison's going to fly out to Eugene to take on the Ducks there. And then they're just going to continue. You're going to miss Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all the way, right back into it. And they're just going to keep on going until all these meaningless bowls are played out, and these college footballs just keep, playoffs just keep rolling on and rolling on. So you got any, you don't want to touch on this playoff until next episode, right? I mean, that's where we're going to do our predictions. We're going to let our brackets out, all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, no, I'm saving it up. I don't want to, lose the whole round on this one.
Yeah. And there's still times to adjust your bracket there. Get all the information in that you can, right? So
the anticipation's building up, though.
It is. I don't think that my bracket's going to change. I think I have it where it is, and I don't see much that's going to persuade me. James Madison, their social media team's been going hard at Oregon, so that may, maybe I want to pick the Dukes there, but I guess we'll have to wait.
I've been telling you, if there's going to be an upset that happens, that's the one where it could happen.
I just think that it'd be Tulane over Ole Miss. I just don't,
No, there's something about seeing a team lose by 35 that just makes it real hard to convince you otherwise.
It does. And I don't think they have faith in themselves either. They're just happy to be here. You know what I mean? Give us our participation trophy and let us roll on. But no, I knew college football was going to be short and sweet this episode. So you good? Sorry, Baxter. There's not much there for you. You're gonna have to go off now. He only listens to the college football portion. So, anyways, let's get over. Okay, NFL football Thursday. It started off with the Falcons going to Tampa Bay and getting the surprising upset there. They pull it off 29-28. Kyle Pitts has his career game. He came out and he finally did something great. Most people had given up on him and are playing in the playoffs and had him sitting on the bench. So thanks, Kyle Pitts. We greatly appreciate that. Or you didn't have a game this week. So he had 11 catches for 166 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins, man, he put the work in. He was 30 of 44 for 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was really dialing it up out there. The Bucks were up by 14 at one point, so they let this slip away, and they're letting their playoff hope slip away as we talk about this too. Baker Mayfield was 19 of 34 for 277 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They couldn't get anything going on the ground. They only rushed for 88 yards as a team. Mike Evans did have his welcome back party, though. 6 catches, 132 yards, and no touchdowns. So it'll be interesting to see what the Bucks can do to try to keep pace with the Panthers here. Those two are going to be back and forth, but I think the Panthers have a little bit easier schedule going forward. The Panthers did lose to the Saints, though, this weekend, so they could have got that game advantage there. But it just seems like the way these two teams are trending, the Panthers have been able to get a couple more lucky bounces their way, and the Bucks have been faltering here shortly. So,
the Bucks slide is has been crazy. I
Yeah.
mean, I get the injuries. It's it's a discombobulated season, but you finally start getting everybody back, and it just looks ugly.
Yep.
Feels ugly. It's crazy.
There's just something with Mayfield that was, there early in the season. It's just not there now. And maybe
Yeah.
it's the run game with Bucky Urban just hasn't gotten going quite as well. Maybe there's just timing between that they need to rekindle between, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and then Emeka Ibuka. There's a lot of things there that could be factoring in that, hey, they had all this time before and they were able to gel really good, and then everybody got hurt, and you got to game plan differently, and you got to move to this way and do your strengths here. And is Mayfield fully healthy with that shoulder? And it's not his throwing shoulder, but it still affects you how you rotate and do all that kind of stuff and just your pain management. But there's a lot of things there that you could, factor into it. So I don't know.
Yep.
The Bills rally from a 21-point deficit to beat the Patriots 35-31 and stay alive in the AFC East race here. The Patriots, they were sitting in a really good position to lock up this divisional run, and they just gave it away. It was a big game from Josh Allen. In all aspects, he made the plays when he needed to, and got the ball into his playmakers' hands. But he was 19 of 28 for 193 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. James Cook ran the ball 22 times for 107 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground himself. Josh Allen added another 48 yards with his legs there. Drake May, he started the game off really hot. He was 14 of 23, 155 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. Travion Henderson had 14 carries for 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. Drake May did add another 43 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns there. And he threw a pretty big block for Henderson on that 60-yard scamper that he had to get into the end zone. He was showing effort, doing all that kind of stuff. They just couldn't make the plays when they needed to. They had some opportunities to put themselves in an even further lead when Buffalo did make the comeback, and they just couldn't do it. And this kind of brings me back to the point that I was trying to make on the last episode, is just not trusting the Patriots, of them being too young in these bigger situations to be able to capitalize on that. Being up 21 points alone, you should be able to, if you're truly that team that you want to be and you think you are, you need to close that door quickly and not let, a hot, team that can turn it on just like that come back and beat you. Put up, 35. They went on a 35-10 run at one point, right? So It's like, hey, you got to be able to stop some of those things, or, you get 21, they get 21-7. Let's put a score back on the board, even if it's a field goal or something like that. Just keep the momentum in your favor somehow to where it makes it just that much harder. But they just weren't able to do it, and I think it just shows the signs of youth there on their end.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Their age showed, and I think it's all right. I mean, it's good to get it out of the way. I think if I have to look at it in terms of the long run, I think obviously this is a learning experience for the Patriots. So, will it happen again? Can't guarantee that it won't, but I would like to think that they would tighten it up and learn from this one. As far as the Bills, though, I mean, if Josh Allen is going to have to play like this in order for them to go on a deep run, I am not real confident in what they're going to be able to do.
Been like that every season of his career. What are you talking about?
It's
no different.
It's going to be the same thing. They cannot ask him to carry them all the way to a Super Bowl and win it. It's not going to happen.
So he's gotten as far as the AFC Championship and, running to the Chiefs, right? So if we're looking at just the playoff picture right now, the Chiefs are out of it. You've got a lot of newcomers in here who aren't going to have that experience when you talk about it. And not a lot of high-flying offenses either. So you got the Broncos that are up there in the lead, the Patriots that are up there, the Ravens have stormed back to, I think they have a hold on that AFC South or North right now, excuse me. And then you're going to have the Jaguars, right? And then you got the Texans in there. What are you getting out of the Jaguars? You don't know. The Texans have a sluggish offense. They have a great defense. The Broncos don't really trust their offense, have a great defense. The Patriots, they're 1-1 with them right now. Who really are you sitting here looking at? I mean, do you trust the Ravens to do anything? They consistently.
I think out of those teams,
it's just kind
the
of
Broncos are the ones that I think are going to give them fits. Outside of the Texans, I think the Texans also would be a problem.
Yeah, I mean they showed that, right? But
the Broncos seem like they're constructed the same way as the Texans, except their offense is a little less sluggish. So I don't know.
And the thing that the Patriots didn't do that like the Texans did is that Josh Allen had so much time back there to kind of do what he wanted, and they were still playing soft when James Cook was running the ball. They never said, hey, let's put pressure on Josh Allen to make him make quick throws and let these guys beat us one-on-one on the outside. That's what the Texans did. They were like, hey, we're dialing pressure up, and you let your guys beat our guys, and we'll live with that all day. And the Broncos would do the same thing. They have a stronger defense, or they have a stronger secondary than the Texans do. Now, defensive line, that you can argue that one way or the other, but those two defenses are top two in the league, definitely in their conference, maybe even in the league. So they do have the capability of putting it on Josh Allen, and the Texans have shown that already. So I'll definitely give them that, but we'll see. I don't know, when it gets late into December and you get into that January football, it changes a little bit, and the Texans have been known to choke. But the Broncos have made it there on defense, and they've won a Super Bowl on defense, right? They just did it. Well, they did it 10 years ago, I guess it was. But yeah. So the Ravens take down the Bengals 24-0. The Bengals just were never able to get anything going in this one. That was pretty poor performance. You don't want to see this out of Joe Burrow, who, kind of making those comments towards potential retirement because he may or may not be having fun. And why is he going to do this if he's not having fun? Other than the fact that he signed a, multi-year, big $1 million deal. It's funny how these guys they sign these huge deals and they want to get paid, but they don't always want to play. So, whatever. That toe injury was pretty tough for him, I guess. So, disappointing to see that in the Bengals. You'd think you'd get a little more fight out of them, but the Ravens, they continue their winning ways right now, and they're moving up. So like the Jeffersons, but
oh my God.
Jaguars handedly handled the Jets. It was just completely overwhelming, and they beat them 48-20. Trevor Lawrence had 5 touchdowns in this game. He was 20 of 32, 330 yards, 5 passing touchdowns. And then he was also the leading rusher. He had 5 carries for 51 yards and added a rushing touchdown on the ground. You don't want to see that, though, if you're Jacksonville. Don't let Trevor Lawrence keep running that rock for you and being your leading rusher. He's been a little fragile as well in times. But Brady Cook made his first NFL start for the Jets. 22 of 33, 176 yards, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. They had 130 yards rushing as a team on the ground, and he threw his first touchdown pass. It was early. It looked like they were going to be able to keep it a game for a second, and then the Jets did what the Jets do and just kind of fell apart. So feel for Brady Cook. Got a touchdown, got his butt whooped in his first game, but welcome to New York. That's just
the Jags are going to go as far as Trevor Lawrence allows them to. He's one of those guys that we've been talking about for a long time on, okay, is this the year where he finally gets over the hump and does something in the playoffs? I feel like this could be the year, but again, this is one of those weird years where he's gone in slumps throughout the season, so it's just a matter of what part of his play is he at once the playoffs hit. Like, is he going to be in another slump, or is he going to keep on this high that he's on right now? So I just don't trust that Jags team at all.
I don't trust them whatsoever either. I'd feel more confident if Blake Bortles was back there, quarterback,
Right, Blake Bortles was the man for that year.
What do you do when you wake up in the morning? You usually take a piss. That guy was great. Anyways.
Legend.
That guy was awesome. But, man, Mahomes tears his ACL as the Chargers eliminate the Chiefs from playoff contention with a 16-13 win here. This was, you talk about kicking the Chiefs while they're down, man. They've been sluggish all year, and then your franchise quarterback, best player in your team's history, tears his ACL, especially this late in the season. That's a pretty bummer because this is going to carry over into summer and affect the start of next year as well. It's really tough. You're making a face. Why are you making a face?
The best player in Chiefs history?
Who are you going to pick?
Did Trent Green pass away or something?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it was pretty sluggish from the Chiefs all day. I mean, a 16-13 score doesn't indicate any kind of offensive power on either side, but Mahomes was 16-28, 189 yards, no touchdowns, and 1 interception. As a team, they ran the ball 21 times for 49 yards and a touchdown. Not a recipe for success there. Justin Herbert on the other side, 19-29, 210 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception. They were able to run the ball for 94 yards as a team. You want to see them get a little more into it, but they did give their backs, 27 carries in total. Justin Herbert had 2 of those, so that was much better sign than Justin Herbert getting 10-plus carries and putting his body on the line out there. So it did look like for a second when Mahomes ran that touchdown in, like, oh, here come the Chiefs. They're going to win this and survive and keep this thing open, but it's just not the Chiefs' year. They just you've seen it multiple times where they've been in games and they hadn't been able to close them out, and they've had offensive struggles, and there's just something not clicking. Maybe it's, all those years of just, whether you want to say getting lucky breaks or not, or just being great and winning close games, it's just kind of caught up here on the season. And unfortunately, Mahomes gets hurt. You don't want to see, star players get hurt in the league. It does, whether you root for the team or you don't. Mahomes has been a phenomenal player his whole career. They've made 7 straight AFC Championship games. Out of those 7, they've been to the Super Bowl and involved in it 5 of those years. So I don't think any Chiefs fan would trade this one down season for the last 7 years. I know that if you told me the Cowboys could have a stretch like that, I would. There's not a lot I wouldn't trade, I'd tell you, but there'd be a lot up for debate there. But it's tough. You have one of these years, and like I said, nobody wants to see. Mahomes, he's not just the face of the Chiefs. He's almost the face of the NFL, really. I mean, he's been the face for the last 7 years, right? He came in on the tail end of Brady's career with the Patriots, and then when he went to the Bucs, and they had some really good games against each other, played in the Super Bowl against each other, and in those AFC Championship games. So, yeah, stinks to see, but he says he'll be back, be stronger. So,
no, I really think this is going to be just a little, the break in between his dynasty, just like Brady had whenever he tore his ACL. You get a little year break from seeing them in the playoffs and at the Super Bowl and the whole bit. And this next run will be a different group. No more Travis Kelce. It'll be, like Jordan's second stint. It's just some different faces, but the same type of dominance for a handful of years.
I was going to ask you that if you thought Chelsea was going to come back, or Kelce was going to come back, and what you thought would happen there. I did see something about Mahomes and Brady. It's the same. I guess it's year 8 that they're in, and that's when Brady tore his ACL as well. Obviously, Brady's was the first game of the season. I remember that because Matt Castle came in, still went 10-6. I'm surprised. I don't know what happened that year, why they didn't make it to the playoffs. But that's when everybody thought Matt Castle was going to be, the next big thing, and he went on and got a big contract and never amounted to anything. I remember when he came to Dallas after Romo got hurt, and everybody thought he was going to be the savior, and boy,
he
were we wrong. Boy, were we wrong. But yeah, I think you're right. The Chiefs are going to be back. As long as Mahomes is suiting up, Kansas City's going to have a fighting chance. So
I think Travis Kelce is going to retire. I think after, not this next year, but the following year, if the Chiefs are back in a playoff run, Travis Kelce will come out of retirement for a playoff run.
I see that. Yeah. We'll see. It'll be interesting because the league's better when Mahomes is playing. So it really is. He's better than a lot of quarterbacks with just one ACL. But Let's see.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yep. CJ Stroud leads the Texans to the sixth straight win with a 40-20 win over the Arizona Cardinals. Have you looked at this box score?
Just peeked at it, and I saw that he threw for 3 touchdowns and 22 for 29 and 260.
I was more interested in Jacoby Brissett's attempt
Oh,
rate.
hit me. What was it? I didn't even see that.
It was 27 of 40.
I told you we needed at least 50 attempts.
He's thrown for at least 40 attempts in the last 6 games or something like that.
You know, I was thinking about it, though. They don't really have a choice but for him to drop back every single down because they don't have any more running backs.
Michael Carter's there.
They keep pulling guys off the practice squad, and
they've still got how do you say that guy? Demirco? Bam Knight is there.
Bam Knight got hurt in the middle, like the first quarter.
Well, you know, Trey McBride has a great game still, 12 catches, 134 yards, and 2 touchdowns on that. So somebody's benefiting from that. It's not a bad stat line. If you look, 27 of 42, 49, 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. They just have a terrible team. The Cardinals are just terrible. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, you're right. CJ Stroud, 22 of 29, 260, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Jahar Jordan ran 15 carries for 101 yards. They ran for 143 yards as a team, and then he split the ball up pretty even across the receiving corps here. There was 10 different players that caught a pass, it looks like. So, yeah, he finally was able to open it up. You need to play one of these bad teams to get, kind of some swagger back, some momentum going to where you can put 40 points up. That's good for teams. You see that happen, and they can carry this success on into the week, and that's what this Texans team has lacked. Their defense has been there all season, but their offense has been terrible. So maybe C.J. Stroud can find some of that first, second-year magic that he's had and keep it rolling there. So
they will be a very, very scary team if this offense gets rolling.
Oh, yeah.
Like, legitimately, I wouldn't want to run up against them in a playoff, especially as a 2 seed or a 3 seed. That's the last team I want to see.
Yeah, especially if you got to play them in Houston. I don't know what that looks like seed-wise. They're still trying to chase Jacksonville, and maybe they get to them. They're a game behind them. Maybe they get there to them. But, yeah, I wouldn't want to play this Texans team either. So, the Bears just completely destroy the Browns. Caleb Williams throws for 2 touchdown passes, and the Bears pound the Bears pound the Browns. 31-3. Myles Garrett, he moves closer to that sack record. He's only 1 sack away from breaking Michael Strahan's sack record of 22.5 sacks. So he's getting close, inching closer each day. Shedeur Sanders finished 18-35, 177 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. You look at that stat line and you're like, wow, that's terrible. People were saying I saw one report to where they said the Browns gave him the wrong wristband.
I saw that too.
He's out there. He's adjusting things as people are running, across the field, motioning and all that kind of stuff. And they're just trying to sabotage Shedeur Sanders for whatever reason. I mean, I don't know why they're doing that to their own.
My only question is after the first drive, how did nobody realize it?
I mean, I don't know how. I don't know how your offensive coordinator calls in and says, "Hey, let's run, play number 1, the script that we've run all game, or done all season when we scripted the first 20 plays." And then you look down and you say, "Hey, I don't know what Y2 split banana XZ double, whatever means. This is not what I need." And then exactly at that moment they say, "Hey, backup quarterback, why don't you give him your wristband?" So.
But the first thing I thought of whenever I saw that report was that story you always tell me about Joey and the middle of a game.
That's one of my favorite memories of all time of any sporting event whatsoever. For those of y'all that don't know, one of my best friends, Joey, at the time we had and one of my great friends, Matt Thomas. We're playing Dehennis or somebody, and it's a big game. And we're trying to drive down the field, and we're looking at the sidelines for Coach Navarro to tell us what it is, and he tells us to play whatever it is. We have our wristbands, and they're scripted, and it's like play number 5 or whatever, and it's a counter play or something like that. And Matt cannot see the sideline. It's like blurry to him because he normally wears glasses and contacts, and he did not during a football game. So he relied on somebody else to tell him what number we're supposed to be running. And Joey's lining up at tight end over there, and our script was like 1 to 20, and Joey says, at the last second, Matt's like, "What's the play?" And Joey goes, 23 or something like that. And Matt's like looking through his script and he goes, "There's not a 23." And then next thing you know, it's like, "Go!" Matt doesn't know what we're running. We're in the middle of a district game trying to win. And Joey's out there giving our guys the wrong play calls. Oh, man, that's hilarious. This has nothing to do with this football game. You're right.
That was the first thing I thought of, though. I said that. I was so
stupid. I'm like, Joey, you're the biggest idiot. Matt was so mad. Oh, dude, that was fantastic. That's one of those things that I'll remember when I'm 80, if I get to 80. But anyways, so gosh,
that's the Browns operation right there.
That is the Browns operation right there. It's Joey not knowing when to be serious and not to be serious. So. Yeah, and it's not like, it was a close game, but whatever. Getting back into Washington, they beat the Giants 29-21 here. Marcus Mariota played this game. He's going to play the rest of the game. They're going to the rest of the season. They're going to shut down Jaden Daniels altogether, but he was 10 of 19, 211 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. They ran the ball 37 times for 145 yards and 1 touchdown as a team there on the Commies side of the ball. And then for the Giants, Jackson Dart was 20 of 36, 246 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. They ran the ball 29 times for 146 yards and 1 touchdown. So meaningless game here, nothing more than pride. This was an empty stadium. I showed you that picture of that guy that's saying, "Hey, I've covered a lot of meaningless games at MetLife Stadium in December, but this one tops the cake because it was pretty empty." But it was an entertaining game nonetheless. They put a show on. It was back and forth a little bit. Giants had a chance to come back, but the Commanders were able to just get the lead and hold on to it. So
yep,
good there. Eagles down the Raiders 31-0. Never really a contest here whatsoever. The Raiders are a terrible team. Kenny Pickett returned to Philadelphia. He was 15 of 25 for 64 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. They ran the ball for 46 yards as a team on 13 carries. That's just over 100 yards of total offense. You're not going to win a football game. You're not even going to be in the football game, which you see 31-0. Jalen Hurts was 12 of 15 for 175 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. They ran the ball 47 times for 183 yards and 1 touchdown. Man, when you look at that and you almost have as many rushing yards as you do passing yards, McKee came in for the Eagles. He was 3 of 3 for 33 yards. So they threw the ball for 204 yards total. But when you almost run for as many yards as you did passing, that's just a bad feeling. I would rather be passed all over than ran all over as a team.
Yep.
I don't know if you feel the same, but there's nothing
there's a difference.
Yeah, there's nothing more demoralizing than getting just the ball run down your throat and knowing you can't do anything to stop it. Yep. So that's a terrible feeling. But
this is what the Eagles needed, though. They needed a good breath of fresh air.
Yeah, that's what you talk about. You need some of these bad teams to where you can open up your offense and try some different things and get everybody involved that they need to. They got passes to Devontae Smith and to A.J. Brown, and they got Saquon involved. And you need these games to where you can open up your offense and really, hey, let's try some things that we haven't tried and, make sure that we're getting everybody the ball, get everybody on sync. And, yeah, they've got the Commanders. They've got 3 games of the season. You got the Commanders twice, and then you got the Bills sandwiched in between that. So really right now they are in solid control of the NFC East. They have to lose out, I believe it is, or lose out to not make it. If they win one game, they're in. Really hard to see them losing out. They probably take at least 2 of those games, and then you can toss up between them and the Bills. Essentially is how I see it. I don't see the Commanders, even if they do, they split it 1-1. The Commanders aren't going to beat them twice in 3 weeks. So looks like the Eagles are going to get that ball rolling and get back into the playoffs and be able to defend their Super Bowl championship there. And then the Raiders, they have a lot of holes.
Boy.
They've got a lot of holes. It starts at the quarterback. I think, part of it is their coaching too. Pete Carroll's a great coach, but I think his best days are definitely behind him. And they just kind of, you got to rebuild, and they haven't done a good job of that. So
no, I mean, and this isn't exactly the best quarterback class that's coming into this draft. So I don't know what they do.
Yeah,
they're in a bad spot.
They're in a really bad spot, and it doesn't look like they have any kind of bright future to get this out of there unless they just go spend a lot of money in the offseason on free agents. But you look out at the free agent market, if a quarterback situation, you're going to be in that same talent pool as a Geno Smith that you can draw to Las Vegas. They have issues across the offensive line. They have issues in their linebacker and their secondary. Their receiving corps is depleted. They do not have a receiving corps whatsoever. Jacoby Myers gets traded away to Jacksonville, and now he's in the territory of being Jacksonville's wide receiver 1. He's just – and it's not because Jacksonville has bad wide receivers. It's just he's gone down there and he's been able to they've unlocked something there, and he's helped open up that offense as well, being a downfield threat, catching the ball over the middle. He's done a lot of different things. So it just sees what you do when you get a player in a different atmosphere and system, and those things could happen. So, Genty has not been – they haven't really given him the opportunities either to really be that cowbell that you think about, but it's just nothing's been working for him. It's been bad all around. So we'll see. The Seahawks outlast Phillip Rivers and the Colts 18-16 when Jason Myers hit a 56-yard field goal there to put the Seahawks ahead. Phillip Rivers made his return, and it's great. Honestly, you could see that he does not have the zip anymore. There was a lot of balls that he lofted, a lot of balls. He was 18 of 27 for 120 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But he did have a great, post-game press conference. I don't know if you saw it, just as far as he's given inspiration to the kids and the young men that he is able to lead and show that, hey, man, this may be a terrible move. It may not, but you know what? I'm going to bet on myself, and I'm going to go do something that is scary, that there are a lot of nerves about, things of that nature. So just in that aspect of what his mindset truly is, as far as like, hey, I may come out here and I may fail, but at least I gave it my best effort and tried. And the safe thing to do is to stay home and not do this and keep doing what I am. But you know what? There's still part of me that wants to come out here and do this. And if I get the opportunity, I'm gonna give it my best and try and not back down from a hard challenge. So that's really great. But both teams look really sluggish. That both teams have great defenses, not great defenses, but good defenses. They loaded the box on the Seahawks side to stop Jonathan Taylor, and they did that successfully. He ran the ball for 25 carries for 87 yards. So he only averaged 3.5 yards a carry. It's not what you're typical in seeing of a Jonathan Taylor rush attack, but they knew that Phillip Rivers, he just, hey, if you're going to beat us with your arm, and we'll live with it. And I would have done the same thing. I would have said, hey, Jonathan Taylor's not going to do that. And like you said, you saw some of those passes that were kind of, they didn't have the zip on them that you're used to seeing from Rivers, right?
Noodle arm.
Yeah, noodle arm is alive still, unfortunately. But Sam Darnold was 22 of 36, 271 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. They only ran the ball for 50 yards as a team. It was pretty bad. Jackson Smith and Jigba continues his all-pro year, 7 catches, 113 yards. No touchdowns there, but it was tough. Really, I don't think anybody, I think it was all field goals here. Yeah, Jason Myers was 6 of 6. He had along of that 56. So he scored all the points for the Seahawks here.
The Seahawks, they concern me a little bit because a lot of their games this year have come down to Jason Myers hitting 5 to 6 field goals in order for them to win, and their defense scoring a couple of scores for them. So I don't love that. This offense is weird because they have a very good running back, probably two very good running backs, honestly. But their timing of how they use those running backs, I think, throws everything off.
Yeah.
They let one of them get rolling, and then all of a sudden they switch them out, and it's like it puts a stop to the whole momentum that they get going. I don't know. It's weird. And they've been doing that all season. I hate it.
The Seahawks are going to lose in the first round.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just telling you right now. So they don't have the I don't know what you call it, but they just don't have it. So yeah. Whoever they play in the first round, when we get to that point, and just to let you know, I'm going to pick against the Seahawks. So
I probably will too.
Yeah. The Broncos hosted the Packers, and they were able to outlast them 34-26 here. Bo Nix had 4 touchdown passes in this game. He was 23 of 34, 302 yards, 4 touchdown passes, no interceptions. They ran the ball for 89 yards as a team there. They added another touchdown on the ground. And then for Green Bay, biggest news for Green Bay, Michael Parsons tears his ACL. He's out for the season there. So they lose a big piece on their defensive side of the ball. It was a non-contact injury, just went down real awkward, and the worst fear for the Packers happened. So that stinks to see. No matter, putting my Cowboy biases away, I mean, there's a lot of things I could say, but you don't want to see the best players go down. And Michael Parsons is one of the better defensive players in the whole league, and you don't want to see that. I could care less about the Packers, I'm telling you right now, but they are eyeing for a playoff spot and looking at Super Bowl aspirations, and you always got to put, hey, if they did have their best player on the defensive side, how would that change that? So you always want to see the best players, the best teams playing to make sure you get the best outcome that you can, and we just got robbed of that a little bit there. So Jordan Love, he was 24 of 40, 276 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. They ran the ball for 115 yards on the ground and 1 touchdown. Josh Jacobs, he not only added a rushing touchdown, he had a great catching touchdown in the end zone, corner of the end zone. He kind of looked like more of a wide receiver there at the end. So great football game. That Broncos offense really stepped up when I kind of had a little bit of concerns there of like, hey, they've been real sluggish. Their defense have been carrying them, but man, Sean Payton has figured out how to get the best out of Bo Nix here and get that offense going. R.J. Harvey's been a really good back for this offense since Dobbins has gone down. He's really coming into to his own right there, creating gaps, being able to get some burst, being a good red zone runner for him as well. So that Broncos team's fun to watch.
Yeah, they like we've mentioned before, if this offense plays the way they played on Sunday, their defense is good enough to go a long ways. And I think that was my biggest takeaway from that game is, it's kind of like we talked about the Texans, but the Texans were doing that against the Cards. The Broncos went out and did it against the Packers, who, up until Micah Parsons got hurt, we were thinking potentially a Super Bowl contender. So to see the Broncos hitting their full stride right now it's a positive thing if you're a Broncos fan.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. So I think the Broncos are kind of one of those teams that if they win, it doesn't affect me one way or the other. So, it'd be fine. But the 49ers outlast the Titans 37-24. The Titans had a couple different opportunities here. This was the first game that Cam Ward hadn't been sacked. So that was a big deal there. He's been the most sacked quarterback in all of the National Football League. But the 49ers are the 49ers, and they just whipped the Titans. There's not much to it. You put up 40 points. Titans are a terrible football team. They're eyeing for that number 1 pick as well again. And, yeah, they just whip them. So
the Niners still having an opportunity to win the NFC West is crazy to me.
Oh, yeah. Well,
given all their injuries.
Yeah, they've just stuck around there, and, that front office has just done a really good job of being able to select depth and have guys there for them to plug and play almost and just keep going. So they've done it. Quarterbacks been down, running backs go down, wide receivers, defensive ends, linemen or linebackers. They've done it all areas of concern. And,
Yep.
John Lynch has put that team in a position to, hey, next man up mentality. Shanahan's done a really good job of that as well, coaching obviously, but yeah, it's just a really well-run organization.
Yep.
On their aspect. So the Saints, man, they take down the Panthers here on a I think this was an overtime game, wasn't it?
No, regulation, last second field goal.
Yep. But they take down the Panthers 20-17. I told you didn't have any faith here. You picked the Panthers, but I picked the Saints. And they get it done. Bryce Young had a bad game, 15 of 24, 163 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. They did run the ball decently well. As a team, they were 127 yards on the ground. Tyler Show on the other side, 24 of 32, 272 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. They didn't have as well of a showing on the rushing side. Tyler Show was your leading rusher with 8 carries for 32 yards, and they ran it for 81 yards as a team. So no Alvin Kamara there on that side. I guess Miller's still out for him, so they've been shuffling a lot of running backs there around for the Saints too. But, hey, good for the Saints. They get a win against the divisional rival. It's a gritty win, and, hey, just stack wins. That's all that matters. Get some confidence going here for them.
I think that's what a big takeaway for me is that obviously this season was a wash after like week 7. So I think the biggest thing is seeing that culture kind of come back to form. It looked pretty bad there for a little bit. Now it's starting to mold out a little bit. We might not have to wait till 2029. I don't know.
Yeah, well, 2029 is a long ways away still. It'll be here before we know it, but it's still a long ways away. So better hope you do it. The Rams are able to rally a little bit on Detroit to win 41-34. This was a offensive display here. Jared Goff was 25 of 41 for 338 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. They ran the ball for 20 carries for 70 yards and 1 touchdown as a team. Amon-Ra St. Brown continues to show up and show out. 13 catches, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams also added 7 catches, 134 yards, and a touchdown for Detroit. But it was not enough to keep up with the high-powered, high-flying Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford was 24 of 38, 368 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. As a team, the Rams ran the ball 29 times for 159 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kyron Williams led the way there with 78 yards and 2 of those touchdowns. Blake Corum did come on with 71 yards and a touchdown there. They have found a 2-headed running back in Los Angeles, and that is very dangerous for a lot of folks, especially with Devontae Adams having that hamstring injury again. He was trying to run a fade route down the sidelines and just sometimes we just don't need to be putting our full sprint out there, you know what I mean? So
sometimes you hit an age, you can't be running them fade routes anymore.
Exactly. Puka Nacua continues to do his thing as well. 9 catches for 181 yards. No touchdowns, though. That was save for Cody Parkinson, who caught 2 of the touchdowns for Matthew Stafford. So the Rams, the Detroit came out. They had a really good display. Their defense leaves a lot to be desired. They did that kind of somewhat against the Cowboys as well, too. Last week, the Cowboys just weren't able to capitalize. So it wasn't necessarily that they stopped them. You still saw those flaws, and the Rams just exposed them better this week. And that's a big area for Detroit that you see, hey, it's not the same Detroit team. They can score a lot, but they're going to give up a lot. And then the Rams, they just did what they needed to do. Typically, they have a really good defense on that side. Detroit's a high-powered offense in their own, but they're going to be able to outscore you. Even if you're going to score a lot, we're just going to outscore you, and they have the offense to do it. Matthew Stafford's playing at an MVP level right now, 2-headed running back. Even with Devontae Adams going down, you get Tutu Atwell back. Ferguson's been playing well. You got Cody Parkinson you got to worry about. Puka Nacua is just a dangerous threat all by himself. It's like you almost just need him by himself, and he's going to catch the ball. Like don't worry about anybody else running a route. Just let Puka do it, and he's gonna find an opening or just catch it in strong coverage. So.
Yep. No, the Rams are a very, very dangerous team.
Yep. They are. So the Rams are going to be. We had to do some power rankings. The Rams would be number 1 on mine. But
yep.
Yep. So, anyways, getting into the last game of the week, besides Monday Night Football, which just wrapped up with the Steelers winning 28-15 here, knocking the Dolphins to 6-8, who were on a 4-game win streak, I believe it was. And then the Steelers improving to 8-6 to stay right there with the Ravens. But Minnesota goes down to Dallas and they take care of business, 34-26. I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
I tried to warn you about 9. I told you he's a dog. You didn't listen to me. Maybe you did listen to me. I don't know, but I think the thing that's been glaring at the Cowboys all season showed its face again, and they've made some improvements, but not enough to solidify. I mean, you've said it best. They're a 6-1 team for a reason, and every now and then they show their face, and it's those 6 losses that starts to show its face. That team comes out.
Yep.
And it's not there's no consistency there. It's literally, you don't know which team you're going to get. And it's that's just the season for them. I don't know how else to put it. That's literally their season. Their record is indicative of what you get.
Yeah. It's just the Cowboys being classic Cowboys and playing to their competition, whether that's up or down, right? You go and you play 2 teams in the Eagles and the Chiefs, and you can argue, obviously, that both of those teams, the Eagles were having a tough stretch of their own, and then the Chiefs are having a down year, but both of those teams have been in every single game that they've played, and the defense stepped up in those 2 games, and the offense did what they needed to do as well. And then you go to Detroit and you get your butt kicked, and now we're coming out and saying, hey, we're going to be pissed off and we're going to use this and we're going to move this forward. And then you come into this game and there's just nothing there. Like, the Vikings were like, hey, look, we're going to rush you. You're down some guys on the offensive line. We're going to put pressure in your face and you ain't going to do crap on the back end. And it's what happened. Like, they were able to run the ball and exploit this, and then it's like, hey, let's give up a little bit on the run and just throw these hot routes and stuff like that, right? You get into it. Dak said it after the game, and he's like, oh, yeah, they got into cover 0, and maybe we should have done this, and maybe we should have done that, and, all these maybes. And it was almost like he was passing the blame off a little bit of like, hey, maybe we should have gone to Pickens a little more or something like that. But we all watched the game. How Dak uses all of the play clock to get them into the right play, or the play that he feels is the right thing, right? So it's like, you can make all these adjustments. You can do all this stuff. Let's not just sit here and say, oh, well, maybe we should have tried to do this. Maybe we should have tried that. You're the damn quarterback of the team. So I'm not putting this all on Prescott still, but there's a lot that needs to get into it, because there was multiple times where, and I felt this way, hey, we're going to get right there to the, to midfield, and then it's like we're fixing to stall out. Like, it just felt that way. You'd have these big runs. Devontae Williams would go and he would, he'd break off a 10 to 15-yard run, and you'd get a nice pass, and then you're going to get right there and, hey, let's shoot ourselves in the foot with a penalty, or, hey, let's just not have a productive play whatsoever. And then we're going to give, Aubrey these field goals to kick, and he did a rare thing. He missed 2 kicks. He hasn't, he's missed 2 kicks all season. Yes, those changed the game somewhat, but you relied on your kicker to kick 6 field goals, which, if you're going to do that, you don't deserve to win the damn game, right? I mean, you're going to say, hey, we just talked about the Seahawks. They kicked 6 field goals and they won. Okay, that's great. They're playing a 44-year-old noodle arm Phillip Rivers, which I love, but you call him noodle arm, so I'm going to say that. But, we're not playing Phillip Rivers there. You got a guy that's coming out here that wants to prove himself in J.J. McCarthy, and we do a very good job of letting everybody look like they're a good quarterback when they come to play us, right? Nobody does it better under the lights or whatever, wherever, of showing, hey, if you want to think you're a good quarterback, still come play us, because we're going to play down to the competition that we're playing, and that's what's going to happen. Because if you look at it, this defense has made Russell Wilson, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Jacoby Brissett, and now J.J. McCarthy look far better than they actually are this season.
Yeah, I think that's what I was. So that secondary, they just got again. I mean that's
Yep.
one of the ugly pieces of this team was that secondary, and
Yep.
I don't know if it's coaching, if it's skill, I don't know what it is, but it just never looks right. And even in the games where they played really well in every other facet of the game, when they played the Chiefs, that secondary still didn't look right. And I don't know what it is. They need some work done on that end.
Yep. You offensive side of the ball, you're fine. I mean, there's a lot that they're going to have to look into this offseason. You have to – what are you going to do at running back? Are you going to be able to keep Javonte Williams? Because if he gone, you're right back to square one if you don't have a running back. Are you going to keep George Pickens? Flournoy has come on really well, being that number 3 option, but is he a number 2? I don't know. CD is going to be able to perform no matter what. You want to keep Pickens because he is a good piece of the pie. So if you can figure those two things out, Pickens and Javonte are big add-ons this season. You're going to have to do something about Terrence Steele on the right side of the offensive line at some point. But you can patch that along a little bit. You can find a right tackle and you can or a tackle in first through third round and say, hey, where can we put this guy? You get 2 first-round picks this year, so let's figure that out. The defensive side of the ball is where you have to spend your money if you have any in free agency, and then you need to spend most of your draft picks on that side.
Yep.
Interior defensive line, you've got one of the best in the league. Whether Kenny Clark stays or he doesn't, you got Quinnen Williams and Odigizua. You're gonna have a solid game there, and then they have Tafoya on the back end who hasn't played, and he'll be fine. You got to figure out pass rusher. That's where that defensive line is soft, and they are going to be good with Aragwe on the edge. I said his name wrong, but anyways, whatever. Number 41, if you don't know who I'm talking about, he's a little undersized. Doesn't seem like he can hold the edge well on rush, but he can get, when he has been able to get open, he's got to the passer. He still lacks some moves and some different things to make that happen. But you got to do that. Jadeveon Clowney's not going to cut it. Sam Williams hasn't been cutting it. You go to the back, you go to the middle. You look at linebacker position. You're going to have Logan Wilson there still. You're going to have Overshown there. You're going to have LaFoy there. Some of those guys. You got to get rid of Kenneth Murray's sorry ass. That guy's terrible, man. I'm so tired of seeing him. And then on the back end, what are you going to do? Donovan Wilson, great Aggie, love him. He's a hard hitter, but that guy can't cover a soul, dude. I don't know why we keep getting put in these positions to where he's having to cover somebody down at the goal line, and all they're doing is running a damn out route, and he's getting burned every single time. Like, you look at it, and they catch a touchdown right at the pylon at the front of the end zone, and it's Donovan Wilson 6 yards behind the damn dude going, oh, man, shoot. Like, dude, it happens every game, it seems like, right? DeRon Bland's not the same player that he was before. Revel has shown somewhat of some promise there. Is Malik Hooker coming back? I mean, he's played okay. Our safeties, there's a lot on the defensive side that it's like, hey, we don't have a good defense. What are we going to do? There's so many ifs, there's so many buts, there's so many holes to fill. You can do it. It can be done, but at the same time, it's like, when are we going to bargain shop, and who are we going to bargain shop for? Because that's what we've been doing this whole time, and it hadn't panned out so far. So
I think that's probably not that it necessarily matters, because there's teams that make it work and make playoff runs with a financially responsible roster, but it's not like the Cowboys don't have the money. And it's just Jerry refusing to pay somebody into some long-term deal. I don't know if he's afraid of it biting him in the ass in the end, or him looking like the bad guy.
Yeah.
But at some point, you just got to take a chance on somebody.
Yeah, you got to do something. And I mean, he made some moves that improved the defense, and you saw that for a couple game stretch there, but it's not enough. So,
Yep.
and a lot of this, I don't want to cut Dak off because I do I like Dak, and he brings a lot. I don't think that it's easy to sit here and say, oh, get rid of Dak. Well, who are you going to have? Like, who are you going to go get to have there, right? A rookie quarterback, you're not going to be competing right away. I mean, there's nobody there that you feel confident in. There's not a free agent out there to go get. Dak's still a quality, high sought after quarterback in this league, but a lot of it falls on his shoulder as far as, hey man, we don't need to be kicking 6 freaking field goals. Like, turn 6 of those, or turn those 2 opportunities where he missed, where Brandon Aubrey missed, take those out of his misses and score the damn ball, and you win the game, right? I mean, it was 24-23 at one point. We had to settle for a 51-yard field goal, and Aubrey misses it, and it's like, oh well, crap, here we go. And then it's just like they can never get anything going after that. So
yep.
I don't know. There's a lot needs to be done. It's going to be a long off season, and we'll see what it is. We're going to talk about it, I know, but I don't really have any faith in Jerry actually doing anything either. So we'll see. We'll see. Yep. So
JJ McCarthy, the truth.
Yeah, I don't know about that. He probably won't be in the league after the next, he'll be backing up somebody next year. So anyways, well, that was it. That was the NFL. That was everything, man. Man, we really stretched that one out. I thought we were going to get out in under an hour. But here we are. We can turn what do they call it? Molehill into a mountain. So,
yep.
Anyways, guys, we appreciate it. You got anything else you want to talk about here?
I'm good.
Man, big episode that will be out Thursday morning. We're going to look at the college football playoffs. We'll bring our brackets out. We will preview, and then we'll preview the NFL as well again. We'll talk about all the big matchups with the bowl games, everything that you need to look forward to. Look at potential, if we'll look at the potential of who we think will win this round, and then look at the next round, maybe for some of the survivor leagues that you have going on, and how you may want to pick some of those. If you look at that, we'll just give some of our perspectives there. I think that's really interesting. I like when you get in those survivor leagues and how you have to pick and stuff like that. So just kind of give a little perspective there, and yeah, we'll go from there. I think next episode is going to be exciting. We're getting into the thick of it with college football, and there's a lot to be excited about. Saturday is going to be a great day. Unfortunately, the Aggies are playing early, but it'll be okay. We'll make it through it. You can't start drinking if you don't start in the morning, or can't drink all day. Can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning. So I messed that one up, but oh well. So, anyways, man, guys, we greatly appreciate it. You coming and supporting us and listening in whatever capacity that is. Please make sure to give us a follow on our socials, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all that good stuff. We really appreciate that. If you're here on Spotify, leave us a 5-star review here on there. Give us a follow. We greatly appreciate all of it. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. So good. All right, guys. Peace. This has been another episode of In-Laws and Out of Bounds. See you later.